So this is a video I've been meaning to make for a while. Thanks for clicking on. It's also been quite a while since I've uploaded. Anyway, so to get into things, I started going to the gym in 2015, and that's when my weight gain journey began. Now, just to put things into perspective, we're going to have to rewind a little bit before that. So before I started to gain weight, before I started my fitness journey, we have to go back to the start. So in 2010 I was 12 years old and I began secondary school. So I didn't have many hobbies going. I was kind of shy and awkward, and I didn't really fit in with many groups. I was also underweight for my age, which didn't help. So anyway, the school I was going to was an all boys secondary school, and it was a rugby school. If my only interest at the time was playing the Xbox and playing games, I wasn't going to fit in well if it was a sports orientated school. So yeah, went to school. I was picked on quite a bit for how I looked and my weight. I was obviously the easiest target in the class. So September 2012, I was starting third year of secondary school. I decided at this point I just wanted to learn how to fight. My best option was to go and try a kickboxing club, which was across town. I was really nervous going in to try it for the first time because I knew it was going to be really out of my comfort zone. Like, from a person who didn't play sports to going into a proper full contact sport, it was very hard for the first few weeks. I remember like being in agony. I also got punched around the place several times as well, but I just kept showing up, and as time passed it became my passion. All I thought about every day was kickboxing, and going to those training sessions became the highlight of my week, and I absolutely loved it. So this led to me to go on and do competitions and fights all around Ireland. It led for me going into MMA and giving that a go. Then after MMA I started doing a bit of jiu-jitsu, karate, boxing, and I just started trying every martial art. It was my passion and I absolutely loved it. Without going into too much detail, me being picked on in school was no longer a problem. So we're going to fast forward to October 2014. During this month I sustained an injury to my hamstring when I was at kickboxing. So I was obviously advised by my doctor to take a good bit of time off and let it heal. So I was a bit sickened that I couldn't train. So while I had this time off, I started to think, like, I'm still really underweight. For my age, I was 16 and I was fighting at like around 48 kg, which is very light. So anyway, as time went by, I was still taking my time off from the hamstring injury, and I had a group of friends in school who were going to the gym and lifting weights. They were getting in quite good shape at the time. So I remember they asked if I wanted to go with them. I started tagging along. I used to do a few sessions with them here and there. But I was very self-conscious when I was at the gym. I used to wear a really baggy hoodie and a really baggy pants because I didn't want anybody seeing my arms and legs. So when I started the gym, I was around 50 or 52 kg. Was when I first picked up a weight. I hadn't really a clue what I was doing. I was just kind of copying what they were doing and just tagging along. So after a while, I decided to get brave and just wear a vest to the gym because I was always afraid to have my arms out. But so yeah, one day I wore a vest to the gym, and I remember looking in the mirror and I thought, I have a little bit of definition in my shoulder. So I was like, wow, I made some progress from these last few weeks ago, and I said, if I keep it up, how much more progress will I make? January 2015, I bought my first gym membership. So I set this goal of gaining weight, and I said, if I just keep lifting weights, I'm going to gain weight and I'll be at the weight I want to be for kickboxing. I didn't want to continue fighting at a really low weight class. I just didn't want to be the skinny guy anymore. Anyway, as time rolled by, my weight started slowly going up through the weeks, and I was seeing more improvements as the weeks went by. I was getting a little bit of muscle and my abs started showing, and it just felt great, really, just to see my body change. And I even went through a little bit of a Ziz phase at that time. If you know, you know. Once my hamstring was healed, martial arts kind of pushed it aside, and going to the gym took over. I didn't really know what I was doing with my training or nutrition at the time. I was just winging everything. But I even remember in school, a few people teased me because they said, oh, look at those little arms, what are you doing in the gym? You're wasting your time. I just ignored that and I still kept going anyway. As my weight started going up more and more, people began to notice, and I was getting compliments from people saying, like, wow, you look good, you're starting to fill out a bit, and it felt good. My confidence was going up. I'll always remember in school, now this might sound a bit weird, but one day I was doing tryouts for athletics. I went and I was getting changed in the change room. There was 10 other people there, and up until this point I was known as the scrawny guy who wasn't in shape. I would take my t-shirt off in the changing room, and a few guys were talking and they went quiet, And I turned around and they were all just kind of staring at me. They had a look in their face like, what the fuck? And I can remember my best friend at the time, he was just looking over and smiling. It was like he was proud for me. We were all kind of making comments and everything, saying like what the hell happened to him, because I had a little bit of muscle at that time. I had some abs. Summer 2015, I remember this summer, this is where I said, I have no school now, I can just dedicate all my time to the gym. I can remember just going every single day of the week. I didn't have any rest days. I genuinely trained 7 days a week. My split was like biceps one day, triceps another day, shoulders another day, chest another day, back, and then legs. You know, I was just like doing random stuff. I had no idea what I was doing. But for my last year of school, I just kept training, kept hacking away, winging everything. Fast forward to September 2016, this is when I started college. This is where the first issue came along in my weight gain journey. And this issue was, I plateaued. For months I just stopped gaining muscle, I stopped gaining weight, I stopped gaining strength, and I was kind of getting bored of the gym because I wasn't seeing any improvements. When I started college, I met my good friend Josh Cates, who you've seen in a few of my other videos maybe, and he's edited a few of my videos as well in the past. So when I met Josh, he was really big into calisthenics at the time. I think he was doing calisthenics competitions around that time and stuff as well. So I began training with him. Now, I could do muscle ups before I met him, so then I started to learn a few other calisthenic bits from him. I was trying to do handstand push-ups and just a few other bits. It was nice to change things up. And during this time as well, I decided to go back to martial arts. I went back and got my black belt in kickboxing. I started doing MMA again. I started Muay Thai and boxing and just dipping out of all those. We'll fast forward a little bit to 2018. I remember my ex-girlfriend, she applied for me to be a Mr. Ireland. That was very strange. I remember being in town one day and she sent me a text and said, oh, I think you'd be good at Mr. Ireland. Can I put you down for it? And I said, yeah, work away. So she sent off the application. A few months later I got an email saying, oh, would you like to take a phone call interview and all this. So yeah, that all happened. I never knew what to think of those whole pageant things. They asked me to do it, so I said, fuck it, I'll go for it. Then when I saw the requirements, I saw there was a beachwear section in it. So I didn't know how it was going to go, so I said, okay, so I'm guessing I'm going to have to wear swimming togs. So it gave me a little goal at that time. So I remember that summer in 2018, I kind of got back into weight training. The plateau was kind of broken. I had a bit more knowledge at that time because I was studying personal training and strength and conditioning in college. The Mr. Ireland rolled around and I remember the swimsuit section, and at the time I was quite proud of how I looked. But looking back now, I don't think I was in good shape at all for it. But yeah, fast forward time a little bit more, I started looking at Instagram a lot, at all the influencers. I was just thinking, I was like how the hell are these guys shredded all year round, and they've got really nice photos on beaches all around the world with full abs and everything. I didn't understand how they were able to maintain it, but that's a story for another day. In 2019, I began a job in a leisure centre as a fitness instructor and lifeguard. And funny enough, the place where I started job was the place where I got my first gym membership, so it was kind of nice to go back there. So while I was in this job, I met my good friend Kevin, who you also may have seen in other videos. Now before I met Kevin, I had no interest in bodybuilding. I hadn't a clue about bodybuilding or men's physique or anything. So when I met him, he was getting ready for his third men's physique show. So I found it quite interesting when I was watching him do his prep, when he was doing all his cardio and following like a really strict nutrition plan. I think it was May 2019, I went out to watch his competition. It was really fun going out and watching it. It was nice to actually see like a bodybuilding show in person. I remember watching it and looking at the guys competing on stage. I was looking at them and thought, if I prepped myself, I could look as good as them. Anyway, after his competition, myself and Josh booked a holiday to the Philippines. So after me seeing all the influencers and stuff online, I thought to myself, I was like, Jesus, I'm going to have my top off now and I'm going to need to look my best. I need to be absolutely shredded for photos and everything. I'm going away. It's obviously the wrong attitude. So I thought back to what Kevin did for his prep for the competition, and I said, I'm going to apply everything he did. I remember I started doing like an hour of bliss, like 5 or 6 days a week. So yeah, the holiday came along. I was quite lean for it. The leanest I've ever been in my life at this point. So yeah, I came home anyway, and then I realised like I got really skinny for it. Like although I looked good with my shirt off when I had a t-shirt on, I looked skinny, and people noticed like that I looked so gaunt and everything. Roll on time again, September 2019. This month is where I went through a breakup. I was in a very long-term relationship and it came to an end. I'm sure a lot of you know how bad breakups can be. Yeah, I felt like shit for a few weeks, which is normal after a breakup. So I remember one day I was just driving in the car, I wasn't feeling great after it, and I just thought to myself, out of the blue, out of absolutely nowhere, I'm going to do a competition. So I started to look up the organisations in Ireland and what date might suit me best to do a show. I decided to do men's physique in the MBFI, which is the only natural organisation in Ireland. I had a year to get ready for the competition, so I got myself a coach. He said, if you want to look stage ready, you're going to have to bulk at the moment. He said, you need to put on a lot of weight, which was fair enough because I was already like quite lean, so I needed to have some mass before I cut down again. So before this point I was always afraid to bulk or gain weight in case I lost my abs, but it had to be done if I wanted to compete, so I said fuck it, I do it. I'd like to bulk. And quickly I started loving the whole process of bulking. It was all new to me, like it was just really exciting. I could never ever break past 70 kg, like it was always such a struggle for me to get over that weight. And then once I started bulking, I started going beyond that weight. My physique was changing, I was shoving in loads of food, I was filling out more and I was getting stronger, and even my face looked a bit different as well. March 2020, so I'm sure you all know this month, gyms closed, which wasn't ideal. Everybody had to train from home. I didn't have much equipment at home at the time, so I went online and got a pair of 30 kg dumbbells. In my head I was still getting ready for the competition, so I was still doing my bulk. The competition was still going ahead because nothing was announced of it. My bulk continued, and because my training wasn't right, because I had to train from home, I started to put on a lot of fat. I didn't really like how I looked. I remember I just kept eating a ton of Coke Pops with full fat milk, and I was getting a lot of takeaways, like, because I just thought, oh, I have to keep gaining weight to get as big as possible before I cut down again. Yeah, I remember I was at the heaviest I ever was in my life. Gyms reopened, but the competition was cancelled. Yeah, I was devastated because up until this point, all I was thinking about every single day was doing that competition, and I just couldn't wait. I was quite upset then when it was cancelled. So I said, what'll I do? I spent all this time bulking up. I obviously have to do a cut at some point because I couldn't just continue to get bigger. So I decided to book a fitness photo shoot, which would take place in October of 2020, which was around the same time the competition was going to take place. So I said to myself, I'm going to approach this photo shoot prep as if I'm getting ready to step on stage. I said to myself, on the day of the shoot, I want to look like I'm just about to step on a men's physique stage. I approached it a lot more healthily and with a lot more knowledge than any of my previous cuts. Yeah, I loved the prep process. I loved getting lean and shredding down, and it was nice that I had a bit of size behind me compared to the last cuts. The photo shoot happened and I was very, very happy with the result. I was also lucky because literally a few days after the photo shoot, another lockdown happened. I think this one only lasted like 6 weeks. Once that lockdown ended, I decided I'm going to do a competition the same date the following year. Yeah, so I started another off season. This time I didn't get as fat as the last one, and yeah, there was more lockdowns during this off season, but I didn't care. I still kept training through them. Gyms reopened fully. I started to shred down again. I remember how tough prep was. I remember getting up at 5 AM every day to go train a client in a PT session, then go to the gym and do an hour of cardio, then go back, train more clients, then go back to the gym to do a weight session, and then posing afterwards. And like every day was just Groundhog Day. I remember just rinse and repeat every single day. If you prepped for a competition, you'll know the process. Like every day you have to do your cardio, do your training, cook your meals, do your posing. Like everything had to be on point, even your sleep. The competition rolled around and I was very happy with how I looked. I probably looked the best I ever had in my life at this point. The result was that I came 4th place. So yeah, my plan after this competition, I said I'm going to do another one, but it won't be till another 2 or 3 years after. I was going to use this time to get as big and strong as possible and see how much mass I could gain without getting fat. So my goal here was just to be able to lift really heavy weights for a lot of sets and a lot of reps. My goal was to be able to rep out heavy weights like easily and just get as strong as I possibly could. So every week was just about lifting heavier and heavier and heavier, which I didn't really consider before. I just wanted to always kind of train safe with a moderate weight. But here I just decided I'd just go flat out and see how strong I could get. Now, this whole process, I felt fucking great because I was lifting weights I never lifted before in my life. My nutrition was on point. I was eating a lot, so I was getting stronger over time. It was just really good. It was another change of scenery and another change from everything before. So I was always kind of like against powerlifting. I was like, no, I'd never try it. So there was a powerlifting club very close to where I work. So I went in and had a chat with the owner, Shane. I said, look, I have a really good bench press at the moment. I haven't been doing any squats or deadlifts. So he said, look, we got a competition in 3 or 4 weeks. If you want to try it, you can just do single lift bench press. Like, because there's no point in me doing squats and deadlifts if I didn't do any in a very long time before this. So I said, yeah, I'll do single lift bench press. The powerlifting training, it was very different than anything I did before as well. And so only the day the competition rolled around, I remember having to cut weight because I wanted to be in a lighter weight class. So yeah, I came first place for my weight class, so I was really happy with that. So yeah, I really enjoyed the competition. It was very well run, and the powerlifting community was just great. That competition was only 3 weeks ago now, so it leads me to this point. So yeah, I made this video hoping that it may help somebody who was in the same position I was in back when I started in the beginning. Thanks if you stuck around to the end of it. What's next up? So on the 7th of July I'm going to Malta with the lads. We have a lot planned for it. I'm going to try record as much as I can, and I'm going to try make a really good vlog out of it. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you in that next one. And then after that I've got some big news.